And welcome back once again to Brian Keene's Secret Histories. I am, of course, your host, Brian Keene. Today, we're going to be talking about Running with the Devil, the best of Hail Satan, Volume 2. But before we do that, I'd like to address I'm making air quotes now, fan, end of air quotes, named Drew Blanche. If you folks are watching this on Patreon, you watched the Dark Hollow video, probably a month and a half ago. For you folks who are watching this on YouTube, you've probably watched the Dark Hollow video within a week or two. At the time I am recording this, I just posted the Dark Hollow video to YouTube yesterday. Now, if you've watched that episode of Secret Histories, it's very personal, and it's about how real life informs art, and it's an example of how artists sometimes use their pain and real world things to make art, to use the art to deal with what's going on in their lives, to perhaps offer hope or a sense of empathy to others who might be going through it as well. And I shared all of that in the video, and I was nervous and anxious about doing that. I don't like putting stuff like that out there, but I thought it was something important that should be talked about. So anyway, this guy, Drew, Drew Blanche, I guess is how you pronounce his last name. He immediately responds in the comments within an hour of the video being posted. When are you going to write a real memoir and not this fake fiction crap? And then, proceeds to shit all over me for Dark Hollow and what went into it. And, Drew has supposedly been reading me forever. Well, Drew, I would point out to you a couple things. First of all, point number one, eat a bag of dicks. That's the most important part of the seminar today. Number two is I've written many real memoirs, and I've been doing it since 1999. The first was Sympathy for the Devil, the best of Hail Satan, Volume 1. The second one is this one right here, Drew, that we're going to talk about today, Running with the Devil, the best of Hail Satan, Volume 2. And there are more and more of these that we'll get to eventually, culminating in End of the Road. Yeah, when are you going to write a real memoir? It's like asking me, when am I going to write a zombie novel? You fucking dipshit. Anyway, let's talk about Running with the Devil. And before I do that, because it's 2025, let me add the caveat. I'm not shitting on or making fun of fans and readers who ask me questions, okay? If you genuinely had never read a Brian Keene book in your life and didn't have access to Google, and you're like, you come up to me at a signing and you say, have you ever written a zombie novel? Well, bless your heart. Yes, I have. And, I'll tell you a little bit about them, and I'll do so with a smile and gentle good humor. I'm ragging on Drew because, the guy came at me like a dick. Bottom line. And the guy came at me like a dick over some pretty personal shit. He could have left that comment in, I don't know, the video for the Rising selected scenes from the end of the world, or Take the Long Way Home, or Earthworm Gods. But to specifically choose the comment section of that video after what we had just talked about, eat a bag of dicks, Drew. So anyway, Running with the Devil, the best of Hail Satan, Volume 2. Of the 4 books in the Hail Satan series, this is my favorite. If for some reason you're watching Secret Histories out of order, the Hail Satan series collects the best of the essays and nonfiction pieces that were posted to my blog, Hail Satan, because back in the day, blogging used to be a real big thing. This is before social media. And it also collects articles and nonfiction essays and things that I had published elsewhere. This edition, as I said, is my favorite of them. It was originally published, well, again, most of this material was originally published on my blog, but when collected in blog form, it was published by Delirium Books. This collects stuff I had written from 2004 and 2005, with these following exceptions. Go ahead and let you get that in. Once again, Gak does the artwork, and once again, my dear friend Gak managed to capture what was going on in my life. I was as close to Gak as I was Jesus Gonzalez, Tom Piccirilli, anybody else that's gone. And with each one of these book covers, I didn't give Gak the ideas. He came to me with the ideas. And he captured perfectly the spirit of each book. The cover for Sympathy for the Devil, it's a young, cocky version of this devil. This book, well, you can see Hollywood's back there and it's on fire and he's on set, and that is everything that's going on. As we said, this is 2004, 2005. These essays were written, and it's tracking everything that happened after the bestseller list, after the success of The Rising and City of the Dead. These are things that you and I have talked about already in Secret Histories. Now, those histories are being published in collective form in our timeline. This chronicles the extensive tour that I did for Earthworm Gods, the Conqueror Worms, which we talked about in that video when Big Joe and I were out on the road. It's my favorite for a lot of reasons, but particularly that segment. A lot of people wonder, it's written very much in a Hunter S. Thompson style, and a lot of people wonder how much of that was true, how much of that was fake. Most of it is true. The vast majority of it is true. I was slowly losing my shit out there on the road. I was homesick. I missed home. I was having a hell of a time balancing that tour with my home life back home. And I couldn't figure out how to do one without the other one being negatively impacted. And, I don't want to spoil the book for those of you who haven't read it, but it culminates with Joe and I had just done a signing in Nashville, and we took a day off to go to Mammoth Cave. And in the deep darkness of Mammoth Cave, I have an epiphany, and then I make Joe let me drive, and we make it from Mammoth Cave to Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania in a record time, in a time that would make Rocket Boy Elon Musk sit back and take notice. And that's all documented here. There's a lot of bad stuff in this book, too, when I go back and reread it. Not badly written, although I'm sure there's some of that, but just bad memories. But that's part of it, I guess. That stuff's got to be chronicled as well. If only as a roadmap for younger authors on what not to do. Anyway, yeah, Delirium published this signed limited edition. Let's find the 6 sheet. There we go. 150. And 150 wasn't enough, obviously. So then they did trade paperback. And eventually, when I got the rights back, Manhattan on Mars did a new trade paperback. Keelan Patrick Burke artwork for the new edition. He had done the artwork for the new edition of Sympathy. So, kept in line. Gak had done all the originals. Keelan has done all of the reprints. And of course, Keelan was a friend and admirer of Gax, and Gak adored Keelan. So, you know, nice full circle symmetry. So that is all I have to say about Running with the Devil. As I said, of that 4 book series, it is my favorite. I think it has some really funny bits. Um, some of the political stuff doesn't land anymore. We're talking about John Kerry versus George W. Bush, and my God, that just seems so mild in comparison to what we're living with now, doesn't it? But uh, yeah, I'm fond of this one, and I hope those of you who have read it are fond of it too. And if you haven't read it, uh, give it a try. I know nonfiction is not everyone's thing, um, but if you want to know a little bit more about me and you're enjoying these secret histories, then this is a good way to learn more about me and how the sausage gets made. So that is it for this time. Next episode, we're going to be talking about the late great Jack Ketchum, uh, and how he influenced me and inspired me to write a novella called Tequila Sunrise, which would be the first really important work in my overall Labyrinth mythos. So we will talk about that next episode. I appreciate you. Peace.